The weekend at Bookies, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Glenn Clark, Griffin Bass with you. We get you ready for the weekend in sports betting, which of course starts tonight with Ravens Buccaneers and line movement that has me perplexed. If you weren't with us for Glenn Clark Radio today, I don't much care for the fact that this line has swung 3 or 3.5 points, depending on where you've looked, within the span of 24 hours. We've been told some sharp money came in on the Buccaneers, and that was a factor, but likely also a factor that Mark Andrews didn't practice all week. And while he's listed as questionable, and there is the opportunity for him to play tonight, you just can't help but wonder. You can't help. It really makes you wonder. God, I hate Maroon 5. It just makes you wonder about if they know something. Like if they know that Mark Andrews isn't playing, and so that's the reason they went ahead and moved the line. I just get apprehensive about those things. But if you want to hang out, bet the game tonight, great place to watch it. The spot is the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Reserve your spot right now by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com. Later on, we'll catch up with our buddy Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports, talk a little World Series, a little NFL with him. But right now, he is our pal, Mr. Andrew Stetka, Stets and Figures on Weekend at Bookies. What's going on, pal? How are you?
Not too much, Glenn. How you doing?
Other than this whole Mark Andrews thing and the line moving for the game tonight, it just got me all worked up. I really am acting like a conspiracy theorist about this morning. I hate everything.
Are you worked up
this.
about Mark Andrews or about the line moving? Which is it?
The line moving makes me worked up about Mark Andrews, right? Like,
okay.
Like
I see the correlation, but I'm just wondering which one.
The line movement makes me convinced that they know something about Mark Andrews. That the Ravens didn't rule him out. If the Ravens had ruled him out, it would make sense that the line would move. The Ravens didn't rule him out. Now I get it. They said he didn't practice all week, and normally guys who don't practice during the week don't play on Sunday. But this is a unique week with it being a Thursday night game. So I'm not really reading too much into that, or I wouldn't have been reading too much into that had the line not moved. And it's like when we were just talking about the stink line between the Patriots and the Jets. What do you know? What do you know? Because this doesn't make sense.
It's why betting controls the universe now, Glenn. It's why we just look to the line to tell you more stories than anything else.
That is very frustrating. It's very frustrating because I would just like to know. All right. Now, that being said, you got to get into Stets and Figures. And last time out, we have been doing so well. We have been riding everything had been going well. 1-3 week last time out for Andrew Stetka. I like the thought on betting the under on Justin Fields' passing yards, but
and I'll tell you what, at the end of that game, it almost did come through.
Unfortunately, that was a miss. Now you got the Seahawks in the first half against the Cardinals. That was good.
You did.
And you had the right idea on the Jets over team total, but you parlayed it with the Ravens team total over, and that one did not come through.
Yeah, they sure were a letdown.
Yep,
yeah.
That was a bummer. And then you finally lost a soccer parlay, which I thought you were going to continue to win forever. I thought you might never lose a soccer parlay, but this one failed you, and I don't even understand it to be able to tell you what it was, but you failed on a soccer parlay. So
we did.
Yep, such is life. Now, new week, new opportunity. That's what we like to say around these parts. Where are we going first with Stets and Figures?
Well, I want to let you know I really did search for an angle on this World Series, but I just did not really have anything I liked. I mean, my lean would be, I know you guys talked about it earlier in the week, my lean would be to play the Astros on the game line at the plus 118 to get the plus money. And if you weren't going to do that, I would just say flip it around and play the Phillies because you're getting them at plus 165 to win the series outright. But neither of them jumped out to me at the right place. So we're going all NFL this week.
Okay.
For our plays.
That's not necessarily been good for you this season. It's a risky.
I hear it's popular though, so that's where we're going to go. We're going to talk about the kids do enjoy it. We'll go down to Atlanta first of all. The Panthers are traveling to the Falcons. They obviously pulled off a big upset of the Bucs last week as double-digit underdogs. But teams that do that and then come into their next game as underdogs don't really fare so well. Teams in those scenarios only 27, 36, and 3 against the spread and 17 and 49 straight up. Since the start of the 2020 season, Panthers, they're only 1 and 28 straight up and 5 and 24 when their opponent scores 17 or more points. I would think the Falcons at home in this kind of setting could score 17 or more points, but we shall see. I'm expecting the Falcons to bounce back after failing to cover the spread for the first time last week. They were 6-0 against the spread going into that. I expect them to bounce back. They're also just 2 wins away from hitting their over for their preseason win total, which was at 4.5. So give me the Falcons minus the 4.5 at home against the Panthers this week. You get your standard minus 110 big on that. I think that's a division spot where I'm not like a full believer in the Falcons, but they are one of those plucky teams that I think can do enough, and I like the line there. I think that spread should be a little higher. So give me them with the value there at minus 4.5.
You're probably right. It's just really hard for me to have faith after, I was really riding just the fact that they hadn't failed to cover all year, but now that there's expectations for them, that's a tough thing for me, right? It's a different thing when, hey, just don't lose by too much, you're good. Now when you
also consider the other side of this too, though. Like with the Panthers, you figure they beat the Bucs last week without Christian McCaffrey. That was practically their Super Bowl. I expect them to come back down to earth.
Where are they? Is Foreman good? I don't even know who's playing for the Panthers at this point.
I think they're both playing. I think both running backs are good.
And Hubbard. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
Yeah, Hubbard had been the one that I think was more questionable, but I think they'll both end up playing.
All right. I could not join you on this bet, but I understand the thought process behind it. Where are you headed next?
We're going to go Dallas for the next one. The Dallas Cowboys host the Chicago Bears. The Bears are coming off, of course, that I don't even know how to determine that victory they had over the Patriots on Monday night. Interesting, I guess you would call it. It was eyebrow-raising to a certain extent. But some stats I found on teams who played back-to-back road games when the second one comes on short rest. I know this is almost like, left-handed hitters on daytime Tuesday games, but this is a thing. I mean, consider the fact that you're on the road and your next game is going to be on short rest. Teams in that scenario just 15 and 26 straight up, 17, 23 and 1 against the spread in the last 20 years. So it's a tough spot for them coming off of that victory and then having to go back out on the road. Not to mention, if you're coming off a game against the Patriots specifically on short rest, you're only 14 and 21 straight up. So I don't give the Bears much of a chance in this game. Now, the Bears are 9.5-point dogs. That's a pretty steep line. So we're not going to bet the full 9.5 for the game. What we're going to do is we're going to expect the Bears to come out slow. We're going to bet the first half spread at minus 5.5 for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, when he's more than a touchdown favorite, he's pretty darn good anyway. So I expect him to come out in the first half, build a lead, at least by a touchdown. And like I said, the spread's only 5.5 in that first half. Prescott, by the way, is 7-2 against the spread when he's more than a touchdown favorite, which is a pretty good number, I think. And the Bears are just not good in the first half either. That's another one that supports this bet. They are 1-6 against the spread in the first half of the season, so a slow starting team. So give me the Cowboys first half line minus 5.5 for this week as well.
So the Ravens have not lost a first half this season, and that played out really nicely for me as I parlayed the Ravens in the first half and regulation last week. But
sure.
I just couldn't. Thursday Night Football, I just don't like betting Thursday Night Football, man. I don't like anything about it. So I stayed away from it for this week. But I do like this. I like that number, 5.5. I like that.
It also prevents the weird backdoor cover from Justin Fields late.
Right. When the Cowboys don't care any longer. Yep, I get it.
Yeah.
I completely get it. I'm good with that. All right. Andrew Stetka is with us here on Weekend at Bookies, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. What's your next Stets and Figure for us?
Well, we did a teaser a couple of weeks ago, and that worked out for us. So we're going to go back to that well. And speaking of backdoor covers, the Arizona Cardinals are backdoor cover kings. Especially when they are underdogs. So we're going to throw them.
By the way, we called someone the backdoor king back in college, but that was a different thing altogether.
That was totally different thing.
There
was some bets placed on that too, right?
Yeah. But anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. I've been tapped out ever since Josh Charles told me I was handsome or whatever he said. I've already forgotten what it was. Isn't
it weird that this week has felt really long despite the Ravens playing?
God, it's felt like forever. I don't know what's going on, man.
It felt like a long. I feel you. I'm
here
feeling that as well.
In Baltimore, we didn't see the sun until today. That was part of it. Is that for the first 3 days of the week we didn't see the sun. But it came out for 5 minutes yesterday. It was a really weird bit. Where in the middle of the afternoon, I was like, oh, my God, that's the sun. And then I turned around, and it was gone. And I was like, oh, I missed it. That's a real shame.
This is not a complaint. It's been unseasonably cold out here in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I know
what 64? Nice 64-degree day.
Yeah, for like a high. For like a high.
Yeah, what hell you're dealing with out there? What pure
It's been getting down
hell.
into the low 40s at night. It's been chilly.
Oh, God. How are you going to survive? Although, as I've told when I lived in Arizona, and you would wake up, and it would be 50-some degrees outside, and your body would be sick.
It's insane. You're bundling up to go out the door.
100%. It was a very weird vibe. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Cardinals.
You're good. We got a 3-team 7-point teaser here for you. We're going to start with the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a tighter game than people realize. I know you were talking earlier about the Cardinals and this line kind of maybe not making a ton of sense. I think this is a tight game, and if you can move this line, I like the Cardinals to at least keep it close, or at the very least get themselves that backdoor cover. So we're going to move that line from 3.5 to 10.5 at the Vikings. Next place we're going to go back to the Cowboys. We talked about them already. I'm confident they cover in that first half. But if you shrink that number from the 9.5 that we had talked about for the game down to 2.5, get it under a field goal, I'm really confident they can cover that at home against a much lesser Bears team. And then the next place they're going is the Rams-49ers game. The Rams are a home dog in this game, obviously, and that's purely because of the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan thing, and there's a lot of history there. And I don't fully expect the Rams will definitely win this game, even though it's kind of a kitchen sink type of week for them coming off a bye. But if you move that line for me, 1.5 to 8.5, you get me over a touchdown at home against the Niners. I will take that. They're also getting a little healthier coming off of that bye, including the likely return of their center, Brian Allen. He should really help their offensive line, which has been one of the really key points. So, again, the three teams, Cardinals from 3.5 to 10.5, Rams from 1.5 to 8.5 against the Niners, and then Cowboys from 9.5 down to 2.5. You get plus 120 on that 3-team teaser.
I like it. I do. I do like it. Everybody will tell me that teasers are always gonna break your heart, right? Because you're gonna be super confident about them.
Yep, they do. They are risky.
But I like it. I think it all. I would absolutely bet all three of these lines, of course. And so plus 120, I like it. All right, and finally.
Finally, we're gonna go to tonight, but not so much the game. I've got a prop for you. I've actually got like a prop and a half for you because I kind of like one, but I really like the one. I'll give you the one I really like first, and that involves Tom Brady. His number for completions is only 24.5. I really like the over of this. You're paying a little bit of a vig at minus 128, but Brady should have pretty much his full complement of receivers available in this game for just like the third time all year. Julio Jones, Godwin, Evans, I'm pretty sure they're all expected to play. He's also hit this prop in 4 of his 5 games this season. The Ravens are also kind of a good matchup when you consider that they're allowing opposing quarterbacks to complete 67% of their passes, which is the bottom 10 number in the league. And at home this year, Brady chucks it all over the place. He's thrown 42, 52, and 52 passes in his home game. So high volume will equal a good chance that he hits at least 25 completions against the Ravens tonight. The other prop that I kind of like is going back to the Gus bust. The Gus Edwards anytime touchdown is at plus 145. We all kind of know what the Panthers were able to do against the Bucs last week, and that was without Christian McCaffrey. So I think if the Ravens can show what they did last week against Cleveland and take a little bit out into Tampa tonight, I understand that Gus Edwards is, still coming back, but he looked really, really sharp on Sunday. So I would like the value play of playing him for an anytime touchdown. If they get down near the goal line, I think that he'll be able to punch it in.
It's so interesting you bring that up. If I were you all, I would maybe pay attention to live casino and hotel social pages because perhaps you might see some similar advice coming from someone.
Wow, and I did not know that nor arrange it.
Well, I don't think it's been posted yet, so I don't think you could possibly know that. And I normally try.
Yeah, but you didn't tip me off.
I normally try to not give away anything that we share on because I do want people to follow Live Casino and Hotel on socials, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and you will be able to see our advice every week. And your boy was perfect last week, and that definitely creeps up this week. That creeps up, as I didn't want to bet the game, but I did like that. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Find some props tonight, because this is a weird especially with the line movement. Find a couple props.
By the way,
like I said,
the Buccaneers have now added that Akeem Hicks is out for tonight's game as well. So that changes everything, of course.
That's almost as important as Mark Andrews being.
Yeah, very much, very similar. By the way, and I still have people chat. Like I know that you all are going to argue that because the Bucs secondary is decimated, that means the Ravens should just throw the ball 100 times. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that thought process. I don't think that you're thinking this through entirely, but that's a conversation for a different day. Right now, we're just worried about betting. All right, sir. Well done. At @Stetka on Twitter is how people can give you a follow, and we will monitor this week's Stets and Figures. Appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Cheers, Glenn.
That's our guy, Andrew Stetka, checking in this week here on Weekend at Bookies. When we come back in, our buddy Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports is going to check in with us. We'll talk about the World Series. I like Andrew Stetka, have kind of struggled with looking at World Series bets. Like, I kept wanting to find something that I was like, well, this makes a lot of sense, but I didn't. I do offer a World Series, suggestion in the video that's coming today for Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, but I kept digging through and looking for more. And
there's like a semi-angle that you can lean if you want. So in the last 25 years, the team with the higher payroll between the two World Series teams won it 70% of the time. Won the World Series 70% of the time. That would be the Phillies this year
because of Bryce Harper.
Yeah, they have the 4th highest payroll, and Houston has the 7th.
It's very interesting.
However, last year Atlanta had a lower payroll than Houston
did, and
they won
the World Series. So yeah,
prior to that, the three straight years.
What did John Little Rock tell us about Trey Mancini? Is that a legitimate?
He said so. I was actually misreading the. He said he wants Trey Mancini to hit a home run at any time during the series.
I don't think they offer you.
Yeah, they didn't offer that. I was looking at it and I misread it. It said to hit the most home runs.
Oh, to hit the most home runs.
Yeah, and I was like,
there's no way.
Yeah, that's.
No
way. There's a way.
No, stop.
There's a way.
If there was an offer,
but yes, not
for anytime home run during the series, I'd like that. I'd like to play that with Trey Mancini.
Yeah,
but I don't see that offer.
Yeah, that would be a fun offer, but yeah, I don't think they do have that, unfortunately.
All right, we will continue here on Weekend at Bookies with Brad Kronthal next. The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today. Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show too.
All right, this is Weekend at Bookies, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. If you haven't heard, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland not only is offering you same-game parlay plus now, so your same-game parlay bets can include up to 25 legs and both teams in the same game. You get very exotic with that. But for traditional parlay bets, they have now incorporated cash-out options. So if you go to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, you make a traditional parlay bet, you'll be able to take that ticket back to the screen, scan it, and find out if the first couple of legs have hit, what they would offer you to cash out if you're not feeling as comfortable about some of the legs later in that parlay bet. That is now available in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Every time we do Weekend at Bookies, we get the opportunity to catch up with our friend Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports, talk a little World Series, a little NFL Week 8. What's going on, BK? How are you, man?
Doing great, Glenn. Since the last time we talked, I've been seeing a lot of promos online, that mobile betting coming soon.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get FanDuel on the phone.
Yeah, man. We are literally looking at, I mean, before the end of calendar 2022, that's the good news. It would be I wish it was today. I wish that was the case, but we are very clearly just a few weeks away now from mobile betting finally being available here in the state of Maryland, which I am very excited about as well. All right, so let's remind everybody about Alloy, people are. Maybe there are people that still haven't gotten fully into betting yet because, they just don't want to go to the whatever the various sports books around the state, but they know that as soon as mobile betting is available, they're going to dive in. How can Alloy Sports help them as they dip their toes into betting waters?
Yeah, absolutely. Alloy is really what you need to win consistently at the sports books. We let you come in and build your own betting strategies. We built a community as well where people are sharing their strategies that have been hitting and seeing games that are doing so. One of our strategies last week went 5-1. It's just seeing the data, putting the NFL stats that lead to winning, and then seeing that outcome and betting on those games.
I mean, it seems it's really as simple as that. And people can sign up for free as always, correct?
Totally free to sign up. We have our premium tier as well. It's really cool. You also have access to that for 30 days. That's our Alloy Pro. You've got over 200 stats and filters to choose from that, but totally free app to use all the time, depending on the level you want to use it at.
All right. So before we get into NFL this week, you, of course, have been our baseball guy all season long. This will be our last opportunity to talk baseball here on Weekend at Bookies. Anything that you notice in looking at World Series odds, like anything at all that you just say, hey, that's interesting to me?
Well, I think Mattress Mac's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, that for sure. That dude, we were talking about him the other day, man. Like, I'm not trying to call him a genius or anything like that, but boy, that guy has got some things figured out.
Absolutely. I honestly found the odds for the World Series pretty interesting. Houston started, I think, around 185. They're now at 190 to win the World Series. To me, I think they're a much stronger team than Philadelphia. Philly may be peaking at the right time, but Houston still perfect in the postseason. Minus 190, I still feel like those are pretty good odds to lay to win the World Series. But looking straight at game one, over-under is at 6.5. Verlander's had a game in the postseason where he's given up 6 runs. Nola's last start, I think he gave up 6 runs in the LCS. I like the over hitting in game one. Philly's hitting the ball so well. Houston, as well can really match anyone. If it's a close game and it's a low-scoring game, they can win that way. If they have to come back from 8-1, sure, they'll do that too. So I like the line at 6.5. I like the over hitting in game one, but I think it's going to be a really fun World Series. Philly's just playing so great.
They're playing really well, and that's what makes it tricky to me. You like the Astros, but do you like them enough for them to cover the 1.5 game line in the World Series?
That I'm not sure. I like Houston just overall to win it. I could see this honestly being a 4-1, and here's why. Houston's been in it, but they haven't won in quite a few years since they beat Boston. Dusty Baker hasn't won it yet. These guys have a lot to play for. It's not like they're just showing up every year as well. Philly's had a great run, but I think Houston takes the World Series this season.
All right. We will monitor that. That's getting underway tomorrow night, the Phillies and Astros in the World Series. Brad Kronthal, Alloy Sports, is with us here on Weekend at Bookies. BK, what have been successful strategies for you guys so far in football season?
Yeah, a lot of our successful strategies have hit on the underdogs. Even entering week one, over the last 2 years of trends, we saw underdogs against the spread hitting quite well, and that's held up this year. Underdogs overall are 60-44-3 this season, and away underdogs are even better, hitting about 59%. They're 36-25-1. So a lot of our plays this season have focused on those underdog games, and we're going to continue to hit those games this season because they continue to win.
Wow, that is very interesting. And away underdogs of all things, right? Like, that is really intriguing to me. I know with that in mind, is there any particular away underdog that you look at this week and you're like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that jumps off the page to me?
So depending on the strategy we built, we have quite a few, but there's a few that have hit on multiple strategies.
Okay.
Kind of a betting theory. It's called ensemble betting theory. It's when you have different data or analysis regression theories that have hit, and just taking the aggregate of the total of those. So saying if I have one certain game that's hitting in 5 different strategies out of the 9 I built, it's probably a good bet to place it on that team as they're hitting different areas.
Yeah.
So building out a ton of different strategies this season, that's the model that we like to use. Teams are hitting it, a lot of different strategies all the time. So this week we actually have a few teams that do that. So why not start with tonight? Woke up, see a line shift. So the Ravens went from -1 or 1.5 favorites. Now they're +1.5 underdogs. Ravens have been a tricky team to bet this season. They are 3-4 ATS. The Bucs are 2-5. Tampa's got a lot of injuries on the defensive front. I'm going to go with the Ravens, and this is where it's letting the data talk. They either got to get it going or they're going to be back where they were. Gus Edwards looked really good last week. The offense needs to pick it up. The defense seems to be gelling a little bit more every single week. So I do think the Ravens, if they can go down to Tampa Bay and handle business tonight, that'll be really big for the football team.
I like everything about that. That sounds very good to me. So I see this guy, SK Bets, on your Twitter account. This guy's Spencer. I don't know about this fella, right? I don't know how I feel about him. Has something called the driver extenders strategy. And it went 5-1 last week. Can you maybe let us in on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. That's awesome. So SK Bets is Spencer. He's our CEO, and he crushed it last week. The drive extender strategy, if you follow us, you should. We come out with a new forecast every week where we highlight a successful strategy. So later today, we're going to highlight that exact strategy. It factored in third down percentage, low turnover rates from quarterback, and again, looking at away teams. So his close underdogs hit really well, and underdogs as a whole. So last week he went 5-1. He has a few plays this week, and then that kind of leads us to our next play, which Cardinals have hit for a lot of our strategies. But he is really doing well off the strategies he built, and that strategy specifically we'll be highlighting in an article this afternoon.
All right. Well, you're going to have to tell me more about the Cardinals, because all of the smart money appears to be coming in on the Cardinals this week, and that bucks everything that I believe, because this is Kirk Cousins in a 1 o'clock game. And if I can't believe in Kirk Cousins in a 1 o'clock game, what can I believe in the world, Brad Kronthal?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's another trend that we're looking at the regression. So one of our Discord posters posted the Cardinals are 0-10 in Minnesota in a 23-year span. So we're looking at trend and go with the Cardinals this week, plus 3.5. Hopkins, the return really helped Kyler Murray last week. It's like, that guy made all the difference, 10 receptions. A lot of the money is on the Cardinals. I think they're starting to gel. Minnesota's had a lot of close victories this year. They're only 2-4 ATS, though. I think the Cardinals can go up to Minnesota and in a domed environment come out with a win.
I don't know. It goes against everything I believe in, Brad. Everything I believe in. Kirk Cousins when nobody's watching, when the country can't see him. He's so good. He's so good in all the games when nobody watches. Oh, I don't know. All right, you might talk me into it. You might talk me into joining. I happen to notice that all of the smart money was lining up with the Cardinals this week, so it's interesting. Perhaps they have the same information that you do, my friend, and that might explain that. Anything else that jumps out at you as you look at football for this week, sir?
Yeah, and just one last note. The hook is huge in that game. So if it comes down to the wire, field goal wins the game.
Yep.
3.5 gives you all that confidence.
No doubt.
So I heard Andrew Stetka talking about this game, Bears and Dallas. One of my rules the first few weeks of the season is don't bet on the Bears and don't bet on Washington, because whenever I bet on those two teams specifically, they never come through. So then I stopped betting on the Bears when my strategy said to bet on the Bears, and they've hit the last couple. So I'm going back the total game. So I saw Andrew got in the first half for Dallas. I'm going the total game with the Bears plus 9.5. I like the Bears defense in this game, and it all comes down to one thing. Can Justin Fields take care of the football? Dallas obviously has a great defense, but their offense is only scoring 18, 19 points a game for the Cowboys. Their defense, they're only getting 305 yards of total offense as well. Can the Bears offense do enough to keep it close and hold on to the football to where that game is within 9 points? I'm going to go with the data and say yes. Am I extremely confident in it? I don't love betting on the Bears, and I don't love betting on Washington. So I'm going to go with the data.
I don't blame you, although Washington suddenly has looked like a team worth betting on the last couple of weeks. I think the real question here is, do the Bears have more play calls from the Ravens they can steal for this game? Because apparently that's what they used in order to beat the Patriots, which is a wild story. It's a cool story, in fact. That's football, man. That's the way it works. All right, Brad, remind everybody one more time where they find an Alloy Sports, not just the website, the app, the social media, everything that they need to know about Alloy Sports and yourself.
Yeah, so we're on the iPhone store, iOS at Alloy Sports. You can follow us on all social channels, Discord at Alloy Sports. And then you can follow me at Brad Kronthal, B_Kronthal, Kronthal. We'll help you win more bets this season. It's that simple.
No doubt about it. I appreciate you as always, my friend. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, all right?
Sounds great, Glenn.
It's Brad Kronthal from Alloy Sports checking in with us here on Weekend at Bookies. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Winding down for this week's show, we need to see if Griffin can't strike gold. Puts together a gratuitous grouping. You didn't go 25 legs, correct? We didn't go all in this time.
No. I stuck with what I've traditionally done.
Okay.
I will have a 20. I can have a 25 legger ready next time.
I don't know if we need to do that. How did the last one go?
So we started it with cricket.
Hang on, maybe we put together a 25 legger for the website. I don't think we need to try to read 25 legs for social. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd
probably
explain my
much.
reasoning behind every single one.
That'd be a bit tough.
So it technically hit because I had 3 legs. The first one ended up pushing because I took England in cricket
Well, that doesn't
over
mean it technically
Australia.
hit. It means it technically pushed.
Well, my other 2 picks got right.
Right, I understand.
So you just got lesser value.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, with FanDuel at least. I'm
because they canceled it, not
it voided it.
Right, it voids it. Yes, correct. Sorry.
Yes.
If you push, so we're using the wrong terminology here.
Yeah,
if you put together a parlay bet and one of the legs is a push, so let's just say.
So what if it was like if you had Ravens minus 3?
Ravens minus 3 and they win by 3, then you get a push for the parlay.
Okay, so you get your money back.
Correct. You have to hit the other legs in order to get the push. You get a push for the parlay if you hit the other two legs.
So if it voids, like a no contest.
Right. That's what happened with
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So England was beating Australia. It was looking good, and then the rain came, and it was the final game of their little cricket series. So they're like, we're not going to finish it.
That's a real shame.
It is a real shame. It's a real shame, especially since the Ticats not only covered against Calgary, they won straight up.
Oh man!
Easily covering the plus 7.5 against Calgary, and then Alexa Grasso, she cruised to a pretty boring fight, but she won the decision over Viviani Araujo in UFC a couple weeks ago.
So you still won a couple of bucks on that?
Yes. Yep.
Right.
So instead of like the plus almost 800 that I had, it ended up being like a plus 250 value hit.
Win's a win.
It is.
Win's a win.
All right,
where are we going this week?
So this week we're going to start in tennis. I
do love tennis bets.
Yeah, I wanted to stick with some CFL, but CFL's in like the final week of their regular season. All the playoff spots. All the playoff spots are locked up. Yeah. So I stayed away from CFL this weekend. So that's why we're going with tennis. I'm taking and we're going to Austria in Vienna. Denis Shapovalov. Shapovalov over Daniel Evans as a slight favorite. I think that's pretty good value because I think he's playing much better tennis.
Interesting decision that you're making.
Because it's early tomorrow morning. We'll be able to get a hot start tomorrow morning out in Vienna. He's been busier since the U.S. Open. Daniel, he's much younger. He's a more fit tennis player than the older Daniel Evans right now. So I like Shapovalov.
He deserves to be favored. There's no doubt about that. He's coming off a nice win over Taylor Fritz, which is not easy, but he did play 3 sets in that match, and it's just always difficult in some of these 3-set tournaments to just get the same feel. I don't typically bet 3-set tournaments.
Gotcha.
That's why
I like those better because they're quicker.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is that. There's no doubt that is beneficial. I on paper, yes, Denis Shapovalov should beat Daniel Evans.
Daniel Evans in his last 5 quarterfinals appearances, 1-4.
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah. Right. So I like that to get us started early tomorrow morning in Vienna. Then we will be going to soccer in England, not the Premier League though, because my Leeds United, they've been playing like absolute dog breath the last couple weeks. They are well on their way to probably getting relegated. It's early, so they have a lot of time to turn it around, but they cannot play coherent football right now. So I'm gonna go to the championship and go with my favorite team from the championship. And QPR, I like them to.
They're Queens Park Rangers.
Yes, Queens Park Rangers, to get the win or draw against Birmingham City. So they look like they're well on their way to making a return to the Premier League. They're right now second in the table, and well on their way to getting promoted. Their head coach Michael Beale earlier this week shot down rumors that he was going to be taking the skipper job with Wolves or Aston Villa, who are currently in the Premier League. So he said no, if I'm getting to the Premier League, I'm staying. I'm doing it through promotion with my team. So they're going to be motivated, and we get pretty good value out of win or draw for one of the best traveling teams in the championship. Plus, Birmingham City has only beaten QPR 3 times in 17 chances over the past decade. So I think QPR playing motivated football. They're going to go into Birmingham and pull out a win or a draw.
Okay. All right.
I think that covers us. Minus 195 is what you get that at. And then we're staying on Friday night.
By the way, maybe Leeds should talk to the Packers. They also are not playing coherent football right now, so there's some things.
So maybe the Packers can get relegated. Yeah. And then, but yeah, Leeds. It's been tough watching them.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so and I know since you were a small boy, you've been a Leeds guy. You've been walking around just Leeds forever. That's all you ever did. You and your dad went to games together growing up. Like I understand.
Out in Leeds, yeah.
How in your blood your Leeds fandom is. So
I gotta stay true to who I picked as my team 3 years ago.
When you were drunk one night, when you're just like,
this is my FIFA team.
I'll go with Leeds. Yeah, I mean that's sacred. Like you can't mess with that.
Well, we're going QPR now. I like them a lot.
All right.
So in the World Series, I like this Game 1 prop, Aaron Nola to get 5 or more strikeouts in Game 1. It's at minus, or it was at minus 250. It might be actually. I think it might have actually moved a little bit.
Okay.
But Aaron Nola has gotten 6 strikeouts in all 3 of his starts in the postseason thus far, including his last one against the Padres, where he didn't even make it through 5 innings, letting up 6 runs, and he still struck out 6 batters. So I think he'll be incredibly juiced. Even though I think I do like Brad's take that the over looks good, but I do like Nola to still get 5 strikeouts. No matter how far he goes into this one. And then so that will leave you in an interesting position because you're going to be 3 for 3. So if you want to, you opt to use your new cash out option at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. But I don't think you should.
Okay.
Because my Saturday night UFC bet is going to hit. We got Calvin Kattar taking on Arnold Allen. This should be a really, really fun fight. I would never want to pick against Calvin Kattar because he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. And I think he could. If Sal D'Amato's not a judge in the UFC, I think he might be fighting for a title right now, just because of the split decision in June against Josh Emmett, which was kind of BS, not the right call there.
Okay.
So he's got to fight Arnold Allen. And Arnold Allen is also a very good, well-rounded up and coming featherweight. So I'm not going to make a pick. What I am going to do is I'm going to pick the fight to go the distance at minus 130.
Okay.
So we're going to have 5 very entertaining rounds. I'm going to be rooting for Calvin Kattar, but not going to have as much money on it, but I think it's going to go all the way. Calvin Kattar.
I wore my Calvin Cattars today, by the way.
You did?
Underneath my dungarees, yeah.
Your Calvin.
Calvin Cattars, yeah.
So 4 of his last 13, what did I write? His last 13 of his last 17 fights have gone to the decision.
Ooh.
Which is kind of ironic because his nickname is the Boston Finisher.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
So he only has 4 finishes.
He doesn't do that.
He does when there is a finish though, he does win.
That's cool, but he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I know. He's but yeah, so 13 of his last 17 gone the distance.
I mean, like, they talk about weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if somebody was like, yeah, it's Glenn, the great football player, Clark.
He's never played football though.
The ironic part being, yes, he's not a great football player, right?
And Arnold Allen, 6 of his 9 UFC fights have gone to the judges, so I really like pretty good value at minus 130 for this one to go all the way. 5 entertaining rounds. Then you're going to go 4 for 4, and you're going to take all of that money.
Yeah, what's that get you? Where are you odds-wise?
That is, it's plus 560, I believe. 530. Oh, actually 535. Plus 535. Right. Yeah, I'm going with some pretty safe bets here. But that's how you hit a parlay.
Okay.
And then once you take your winnings, and you're gonna see what Live Casino Hotel Twitter page tweeted, and you're gonna tail me with that bet.
I'm not sure if I agree with that one. Not sure if I would. I don't want to be a part of that in any world, but you'll find out that later today.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think
I hate everything. Oh, man, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. That's a heck of a way. Why don't we end? Why don't we finish the show? Now I've got the hiccups. All right, we'll see how that plays out. Keep me updated. That's Griffin's gratuitous grouping. All right, so that will do it for this week's episode of Weekend at Bookies. We'll be back on Tuesday for the next Simply the Bets. Get down to the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland this weekend. Thanks to Brad Kronthal. Thanks to Andrew Stetka. May the odds be ever in your favor.